Hi everyone, Dave here, Fit and Healthy Forever. This is a short video. I've already done 2 videos on salt. This is an update on your salt intake. Now, I think this is really important, and I've found another study. It's an hour long, but I've chopped it down to the main points that I think people should be aware of. So it's another update on salt intake, and it's from a New York research scientist named Dr. James DiNicolantonio. That's a mouthful on its own. And he also wrote a book called The Salt Fix. He believes that the World Health Organization, the US and the UK advisory bodies have got it all wrong with their advice on cutting salt intake. He says salt is necessary and very good for us. So I'll go through a few reasons why. It doesn't make sense that salt is contributing to high blood pressure, which really began in the early 1900s, this high blood pressure business. Now, if anything, the rise in high blood pressure, obesity and diabetes, which began in the early 1900s, actually parallels a reduction in salt intake. That was around the time we started to reduce salt intake. It was considered bad. Salt intake has actually gone down while all these chronic diseases have gone up, and salt has been widely used throughout history, and historically people consume 10 times more salt than we do now. And if you were consuming that years and years and years ago and it wasn't considered bad, the only reason I can think of it's considered bad now, or one reason, is that table salt now is not 100% salt. It's something like 97% salt, and the rest are like fillers and agents and preservatives and whatever else. But I'll go through that again in a minute. What this guy said is, in fact, salt was a primary food preservative before the invention of refrigerators. So we used to use this as a preservative. So when you get artificial preservatives now, they are really bad for your health, whereas salt is good for your health. And it was used as a preservative before we had refrigerators. I can remember as a kid, we didn't have fridges because we used to have to put bottles of milk in a bucket of cold water to keep it cool in the summer. So we didn't have refrigerators when I was a kid, and we always salted food. But that then I think was probably table salt more so than a decent quality salt. Salt has been wrongly demonised as a major contributor to high blood pressure, and as a result people are cutting salt intake, leading to sodium deficiency. Now, sodium's a really vital and essential mineral for your body. Blood pressure did go down when you cut salt intake. The problem is total cholesterol to HDL ratio, which is a better predictor of heart disease than LDL is, it worsened on a low salt diet. So you could cut your salt, your blood pressure will go down, but then your cholesterol becomes a problem. And cholesterol isn't normally a problem on its own, but if the cholesterol to HDL ratio is out of whack, which I did a video on not so long ago, then you're in trouble. You'll be on medication for that, and you don't need to be. Triglycerides also increased, which is a bad marker, real bad marker. You don't want your triglycerides to increase, because when you cut salt as an essential mineral, you actually become insulin resistant. Now, I've done a video on insulin resistant before as well, because this is one of the ways that your body preserves salt, by upping insulin levels, and as insulin helps kidneys to retain more salt. So it's a vicious circle. You cut your salt out and then you become insulin resistant because your body's trying to preserve salt, and it ups insulin levels, and this helps your kidneys to retain more salt, but then you become insulin resistant, which is pre-diabetic, and eventually you'll be diabetic. A low sodium diet is one of the worst things you can do for your health, especially heart and bone health, as salt directly controls your magnesium and calcium levels, which are mainly in your bones. If you don't get enough salt in your body, not only does it start pulling sodium from the bones, it also strips the bones of magnesium and calcium to help maintain normal sodium levels. So this could be one of the reasons where the they say you've got brittle bones. You pull the calcium and magnesium out of there over many, many years, and older people are going to have brittle bones. It's jack shit to do with osteoporosis, and it's more to do with not looking after your body, not giving it the vital ingredients that it needs to stay healthy. Your body will also attempt to maintain sodium levels by decreasing the amount of sodium lost in sweat. It will excrete calcium and magnesium instead of salt. Now, if you're someone who exercises regularly, you may cycle, you may run, you may play soccer, you may play whatever sport, badminton or squash, when you're sweating profusely, if you haven't got enough salt intake in there for your body to excrete, it will pull magnesium and calcium from your bones instead. So that's not good for your health. It's far from good for your health. Salt was touted to be the addictive white stuff, when in fact it was sugar all along. So for years and years and years, you know, if someone is considered to have high blood pressure, one of the things a doctor or nurse will say, oh, you must cut your salt intake. How much salt do you take? Do you salt your food? You need to cut down on that. No, you don't. I've said this before. If your potassium levels are high in your diet, you don't need to cut your salt. Potassium should be roughly 4 to 5 times more than your salt intake. So if you have 1 gram of salt a day, then you need to be having 4 or 5 grams of potassium, and you'll be fine. Your body will also attempt to maintain sodium levels by decreasing the amount of sodium lost in sweat. It will excrete the calcium and magnesium instead, as I said earlier. When we sweat during exercise especially, average amount of salt we lose per hour of exercise is half a teaspoon. That's a lot of salt. And if you're losing half of one of them when you sweat, and we're supposed to be exercising to be healthy, if you don't replenish that, this is why a lot of your electrolyte drinks and that have got salt in them. But you could just drink, if you drank after exercise a pint of water with apple cider vinegar, lemon juice and salt in it, and also cream of tartar, that gives you salt, potassium, and also the apple cider vinegar and lemon juice is good for your kidney. So that's all you need, and you can make it yourself. It costs pennies, just pennies. So if you're eating a whole food diet, which you should be, whole foods are notoriously low in salt. So if you're eating a whole food diet, you're probably on a low sodium diet, and unprocessed foods don't contain a lot of salt. So as a result, you need to ensure you're salting all your food. As a proviso here, I would say make sure you're using pink Himalayan salt or sea salt. Your normal table salt is not good quality, not at all. If you're salting with that, it's probably almost as bad as taking none. And honestly, you can get a huge bottle of pink Himalayan salt for a couple of quid. And I salt all my food with it, and it tastes really nice as well. Remember, if you sweat profusely, you automatically need more salt than usual. Use pink Himalayan or sea salt. I just wanted to bring that update because I still don't think people are getting this. As I've said before in videos, your health matters. You can't abdicate your health to someone else and expect to be healthy. Health doesn't come in a pill, a tablet or a medication. It comes by you doing the right things by your body, eating the right foods, taking your vitamins and minerals, exercising, getting rest and recovery, good quality sleep. You can't go wrong. It's that simple. It really is that simple. One of my goals in life now at my age, and I'm coming up to 63, is to try and prove how long I can go still being able to. I still run, I still cycle, I still weight train, I still stretch, I still do things like active stretching where we do things like foam rollers for help with injuries or prevent injuries. And honestly, I get such a buzz out of this, and it seems to be giving me more health and longevity than I ever thought possible. I can only do, and same as you can, things that are in your control. If I walk out of here and get hit by a bus, that doesn't mean I haven't lived a long life because I haven't looked after myself. I can only do what's in my control, and whatever's in my control, I will do whatever it takes to make sure I live a long, healthy and fruitful life. And you know, you still get people say, yeah, but my granddad smoked and drank and lived till he was 80 or 90. But to me, it's quality of life. I watch old people now who are in their 80s now, and one is pretty close to me. They can't even bend down and fasten their own shoelaces. They have to have Velcro shoes. They can't get out of a chair without putting their hands on the arm and pushing because they've got no leg strength. You should be able to get out of a chair using leg strength alone. You shouldn't need to push, because if you've got no leg strength and you eventually lose your arm strength with age and lack of use, you won't be able to get out of a chair. And I've seen this as well, where someone's had to be pulled out of a chair by the partner because they couldn't get out. I don't want that. That's not quality of life to me. That's existing. It's not living. So just please take this on board. Try and make some small steps, changes to try and help with your longevity. You know, people will open a pension plan or save money for when they get older. You might not get older the way life is today. There's more stress in jobs and life in general. There's more pollution, there's more toxicity in foods, in the air we breathe. Whatever's in your control, do something about it. Don't leave it to, don't wing it and take a chance. Do what you can. It's not difficult, it's not expensive. It just takes a little bit of your time, that's all. And your health is worth that bit of your time. So as I've said before, try and take this on board. I hope some people listen. If only one or two make changes, I'd be over the moon with that. I know one or two have. I've had comments on a couple of videos that, one on the walking video and one on a couple of other videos that said, you know, they've really taken it on board. So that's mission fulfilled for me, and I just hope a lot more people do the same. So you don't have to believe everything I say. You can go and double check and cross-reference yourself. It's out there, the information's on YouTube, it's on Google it, but go with reputable doctors and scientists and that know what they're talking about. Don't just go with Joe Blogs from down the road or sitting behind a keyboard in some dungeon somewhere. So anyway, as I've always said, I'm really grateful for anyone who takes the time to listen, because I love doing this. I love learning. I want to pass the messages on so that people can have the same quality of life that I believe I'm getting. So, as I've said before, try and stay fit and healthy forever. Do the right things. Till the next video, like and subscribe, and just pass the information around to people you might think are interested. So once again, thanks very much. Really appreciate your time.